Last time on New Hope, as Krillin made cozy with some old friends in Otherworld, we then jump forward to the timeline that is still in ruins. Future Bulma, the last remaining hero of her era, ventured aimlessly through space until finally stumbling upon New Namek. Upon summoning Purunga, Gohan would be the first to be resurrected, but he returns not to an Earth devastated by androids 17 and 18, but now Perfect Cell. Has he been able to train during his stay in the next dimension, or has he been brought back only to make a swift homecoming to the afterlife? This is part 11 of an ongoing series and was created by DB New Hope. Support him and catch up fully using the links below. After making her first wish, the dragon clarifies exactly what it was. As I think Purunga can't bring back multiple people at once, only Gohan has been brought back to life. Since his body was in a state of advanced decomposition, he's given him the one he had in Otherworld. While this seemingly doesn't tell us much, it alludes to our hero getting to keep his body after falling to the androids. This means it's very possible he's gotten the opportunity to become stronger. We can speculate as much as we want, but Purunga isn't so patient. He demands Bulma now state her second wish. Being as hard-headed as she is, her focus is on those around her rather than the magical serpent floating above. She knows that Gohan must feel so lost right now. It's been 18 years since he died. So one of her next two wishes needs for her to be teleported back to Earth. First, she knows she has to choose her next wish carefully because the Earth doesn't have Dragon Balls anymore. Something more you're sure she needn't worry about. Dende will come back with her. That way, her planet will have a new guardian as well as the Dragon Balls. But is the Grand Elder sure? Don't they need Dende here on New Namek? He reasons that Bulma and her friends saved them all from Frieza. It's the least they can do to express their gratitude towards them all. And being as noble as he is, Dende himself pipes up and admits it'd be a great pleasure to be allowed to become their new guardian. Our scientist doesn't know what to say. She thanks them for how awesome they are. If the Earth can get new Dragon Balls, it'll be a complete game changer. Hollering out to know if Purunga's ready, here is her second wish. Again, what exactly she wishes for is hidden from the reader. He bellows out to the Earthling and it can be done. With Gohan, still trying to figure everything out, he wonders how he is brought back to life. The Earth doesn't have Dragon Balls anymore since Piccolo and Kami died. So it must be the Namekian balls. Why didn't he think of that sooner? Walking around, he tries to gather just how many years have passed since he died. Apparently, he hasn't been keeping track while doing whatever he's been doing. The only thing that makes sense in the moment is to find Trunks and Bulma. Trying to sense him out. Naturally, Trunks is in the afterlife of another timeline. Something Gohan has no way of knowing. But the life signals on the planet, he can barely feel anything. It seems like there are only a few Earthlings still alive. Those androids! There's no doubt that those two monsters are the ones behind all this disaster and desolation. Facing such dire straits, Trunks and Bulma must have fled the Earth to get help from the Namekians. That must be why he can't sense their energies. However, there is something he does sense. There's an enormous power close to the planet. It's his dad's key. There's also Piccolo and Vegeta's, and even Frieza's. Well, that's impossible. Piccolo became the guardian of Hell, so that prevents him from coming back to life. And with the heart virus, Goku shouldn't be able to be wished back either. So what does this mean? Going back to Gohan's comments about Piccolo becoming the guardian of Hell, this is something that happens in Dragon Ball GT. He chooses to perish with the Earth and basically ends up being Hiffle Batman. But in this story, it can only confirm that there have been things happening with the Z-Fighters off-screen since falling to the androids. What kind of training, if any, have they done? What kind of adventures have they gotten into? Coming back like the cancer he is in this tale, Cell finds himself trekking through space, blowing up planets and other celestial bodies for no reason but to cure his boredom. He scoffs in loathful frustration that this entire solar system is filled with nothing but pathetic civilizations and unworthy warriors, each one more disappointing than the last. Something he hasn't done yet, though. How about he destroy everything that remains in the system once and for all? When he too senses a distant energy, this key, it's impossible. If he's not mistaken, it's coming from Earth. This may be his opportunity to finally have some fun. As he quickly makes his way back, Gohan still has no idea what's going on. All he knows is that he senses a being that contains the same key signatures as his family and friends, who he knows for a fact are still in Otherworld, and now it's speeding towards him. When Bulma and Dende teleport in, running over to our long-lost friend, the trio couldn't be happier to be reunited. As Dende and Gohan haven't seen each other since they were small children, they almost have to reintroduce themselves to be recognized. Bulma stammers with tears in her eyes that she's so happy to see him, then explains that Dende came back with her to take over as guardian. They were just on New Namek. The Saiyan assures his friends that he's happy to see them too. He figured that was the reason he came back to life in the first place, but he never would have imagined that Dende would be coming back with her. But she needs to tell him, what's happened to the Earth? The world is in utter ruins. Was it the androids that exterminated almost all the life here? What's been going on in his absence? Lowering her head, so much has happened over the last couple decades. She really doesn't know where to begin. Gohan assumed as much. Near the planet, he's sensing an incredible key, nearly identical to all of their dead friends, as well as Frieza. He has a bad feeling about this. Does she have any idea who it could be? That's when the Namekian also takes notice of it. He can feel Piccolo and Frieza's energy radiating from it. What an absolutely crushing power! Bulma barks out that it's Cell. It must be that atrocious cockroach. A Cell? Who or what is that? She informs Gohan that he's a monster created by Dr. Gero's computer. He's compromised other friends' cells and DNA. That's why he's sensing those familiar energies. He showed up on Earth about 10 years ago. His goal was to absorb 17 and 18 to obtain his perfect form. Bulma had to leave the Earth because he was hunting humans to consume their life force. This confirms our hero's worst fear. It'll never stop. Another monster from that damn Gero. It wasn't even the androids. It was Cell who wiped out most of humanity. Given Bulma has been off planet since becoming aware of this new threat, she wonders aloud if they think that he managed to absorb the androids. A reality that is very well possible. His power is impressive. With a likely battle approaching, the question then must be asked where Trunks is. Did he not go with her to Namek? If not, where is he? Hiding her emotions. A few years after Gohan died, the scientist finished her time machine. Trunks managed to do a two-way trip to the past and give Goku the medicine he needed, as well as warn everyone about 17 and 18. But on his second trip to help their friends in the past, he just never came back. She asked Purunga to bring him here, but was told that it was impossible because he died in another timeline. This most recent tragedy setting in. All the Saiyan can do is apologize. But optimistic, she still holds out hope that she'll be able to save him. She thinks she might have a way. Detracting from this to return to the situation at hand, Gohan states for now she and Dende should take cover. But why? What's suddenly the matter? Of course, not being able to sense energy. So she's enlightened that Cell is speeding towards the Earth as they speak, and fast. But what? Cell is coming back? But maybe it doesn't matter. Unlike Vegeta, he was able to keep his body in Otherworld, per Purunga. So he must have gotten all sorts of stronger while he was there. He can beat Cell for sure, right? Hesitating to answer this. The truth is, he has no idea. It's been a while since he trained with his dad or Piccolo. Causing the scientist's blood to run cold. She cries out and pouts that it can't be! Purunga just gave her 30s back! She doesn't want to die already! Revealing her second wish before having the dragon take her back here, which is about as vain as her DBBL wish in the superhero movie. As the pair take off from the soon-to-be battlefield, she screams out to Gohan that she just brought him back to life. He better not die again. Though not choosing the best place to spectate from, Cell's here. Taking in the sight before him. The biodroid cackles, would you look at that? Seems like he wasn't wrong after all. It really is Gohan. This is quite the surprise. His data tells him that he died fighting the androids a long time ago. Where has he been hiding all these years? Although he likely already knows it in his heart, Dende wants to confirm with Bulma if that is Cell or not. And she believes it is, without a doubt. But his appearance has changed. He's a bit less hideous than before. Does that mean he's obtained his perfect form? Who smirks that he thought Gohan would be a little more talkative. Maybe he's simply too terrified to be up against the perfect being. Moving in. Gohan questions. Perfect, huh? That must mean he managed to absorb androids 17 and 18. Which is indeed what happened. Those two androids are merely tools built to help him attain his perfection. Unexpectedly, Gohan scoffs that he supposes it could be considered a good thing that he's absorbed those two monsters. That means when he gets rid of him, the world will also be rid of all of Jiro's horrors, and it'll know peace again. Initially stunning the villain. This comment only causes him to bellow out with that arrogant laughter we've all become accustomed to. He chortles, "Get rid of me!" He has to admit, Gohan here has a great sense of humor. Does he realize how absurd his words sound? The same warrior who is powerless against 17 and 18. Does he really think he can hold his own against him? Perfection incarnate! But then again, the Saiyan's presence here is almost a blessing. Since he got this perfect body, he's barely had the chance to entertain himself. He better try to not disappoint him in this battle. There's the Super Saiyan! It's actually the first time I've seen it with my own eyes. Your power multiplied considerably. It seems like you've improved with time. Come now, Gohan! Show me the reach of your strength! Fight beginning. Dende could barely keep up with him at this speed, something he didn't need to tell Bulma. Already on the back foot! You're still way too weak, Gohan! Smashing Gohan into the ruins of the city. Cell calls for Gohan to show himself. Don't tell him he's already ran out of steam. It's only the beginning and he's just starting to have fun. Calmly emerging. Cell touches down to hear himself talk some more. He commends his opponent for surviving this little warm-up. With this perfect body, no one has been able to last more than a few seconds. Aside from that statement proving how important context is, he's nevertheless happy that Gohan is exceeding his expectations. Thinking, our hero knows he's become very sloppy in his abilities. He's lost the reflexes that are key to being a great warrior. Cell must have only used a fraction of his power just now. The situation could turn sour if he doesn't get his instincts back soon. He's also getting used to this earthly body again. Another world, it was much more durable and drains much slower. Continuing, Cell announces that his foe's presence here finally offers the chance to test his perfect body's full power. He hopes he's ready to be utterly terrified. Possibly at his max. All of our heroes look on in awe. Saying another thing that doesn't need to be said, Dende clamors that he's never felt such power before. With Bulma inquiring if that means Gohan is. But the truth is, Cell is much stronger. The villain cackles for Gohan to be honored. He's the first to witness his strength in its entirety. Unsure what to say. Cell only hopes his adversary doesn't die too quickly. kicking Gohan around like a ragdoll. Cell continues to pat himself on the back, commenting that his max power is quite astonishing, isn't it? But not losing his resolve, Gohan taunts that he thought Cell said the warm-up was over. Only annoying him, the monster chirps that even in his pitiful state, the Earthling insists on being arrogant. Pathetic vermin! They'll be sure to give him a slow and painful death. Gohan reveals that he himself made a mistake. He gravely overestimated Cell. Gohan grins as Cell's perfect body is so fragile.
What?
With the tables taking a sudden turn, just what kind of training did Gohan do to obtain this kind of power in only his normal Super Saiyan form? Will this finally be the end of this nightmare of the future timeline? Or is it merely another devious game Cell is playing on our heroes?